separate solo projects that we've just been doing as a hobby over the years. Mine is called Tiny Microphone, and Lisle's is called Fireflies. They're very different sounds. Like mine's more like of a shoegazy type pop, and then Lisle's is more like a, what would you call it? Like 60s folk.
Yeah,
type.
like late, like early 70s type of thing.
In the song too.
Yeah. So anyway, so we've got these side projects, and then Lisle was approached by this label in Norway called Eardrums Pop, and they were doing this like compilation thing where it's like one band pairs up with another band to do a song together. So we started writing this song because we thought it'd be fun to do it like in a kind of like 80s new wave thing, because this is something we both liked. We've never done it before. And we ended up doing Don't Wait Till I Fall Asleep for this Eardrums compilation, not knowing what would happen.
It was just sort of like, at the time, it was like a one-off, and it was like, oh, well, we said we would do this, and so we better do it. And
well, we liked it. It wasn't like we
yeah.
were like blowing it off. We really didn't want to produce something that wasn't sincere to what we wanted,
Right.
and then that wasn't good because there was no point.
Right.
And so we're very happy how it turned out. And then Newt, who runs Eardrums, was like, your song did very well. Why don't you do a single? Working on it, it was like 3 or 4 hours, and
Right, yeah.
and then that's
I mean, it was basically
what
like
happened.
recorded as it was written.
Yeah,
That's sort of
which
like
was
how
like
it was.
so fun.
Yeah.
Like, but like we
What was
were
the title of that song?
Snow.
Snow.
Yeah, and so it was cool because it was just so organic when
That
it
was the
happened.
first song together.
Well, we did Holding Pattern first,
Oh.
but Snow was the one that was on deadline, and it's still my favorite song to play
Oh, wow.
because it was just, I don't know, because we captured it as it was being written. Sometimes we'll write songs and then they'll just sit for a while, and then you revisit it, and it's not the same. You don't have the same kind of energy. Like
I had a dream that if only you knew, if only you knew. I had a dream that if only you knew, if only you knew, that I only began to wonder if life could ever be
One of my favorite like quotable quotes was from John Lennon talking about like sort of like the latter years of the Beatles, and he said that the Beatles stopped being a band when they stopped trying to take their favorite singles and improve on them. I'll hear a song and I say, you know, like, gee, I wish there were more songs like this song, or like, you know, there's not enough music that sounds like this or that or whatever. And so, you know, I'll hear something and I would want to try and like create that kind of mood, I guess.
a lot of my songs are based off of events that have happened to other people and imagining if it was me, like what would I have done. I learned piano when I was very young, and then I was in orchestra and I was in band and I was in jazz band, and then I did jazz piano, and somehow I have this hybrid of sounds, and like Lisle doesn't really like it all the time, but I like things that are a little bit dissonant and not resolved.
Yeah, right. Her back, she comes up with these like crazy chords, and I'm like, what are you even playing here, you know?
Right.
And I learned piano like by learning like Bach and stuff like that, you know.
Which
so
I did too,
Right.
but I did
I never
other
got
things.
past that. So she will have much more like dissonant, strange chords that I don't even know, like, I don't know what key the song is in.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. Like the neck was all bent out of shape. This is actually a replacement pick guard. The original pick guard was like totally disintegrated, and it actually, you can see like kind of started to disintegrate the wood.
Yeah.
And so I brought it to this guy that does all the work on my guitars, Jeff Benj, and he had it for about 6 months, and he just totally took it apart and reset the neck and made a new bridge for it. And I actually had to source this from Australia because it's like they were the only ones that made replacement pick guards that had all these like fancy like hummingbird graphics. So it's like it took about 6 months until it was, after I bought it, until it was ready to go. But since then, it's just like, I don't know. It's like this. It's the one thing that was like, I never felt like I would never need another acoustic guitar ever again.
The reason why I got it is because my first time in a actual recording studio was in this really cool place called Pie Holden, which was in Rantoul, which is close to Urbana-Champaign. The guy now has a studio in Chicago, thank God. But like when we went there, it's the guy knows Jay Bennett of Wilco, and so all the equipment there was Wilco's stuff, and all of Wilco's stuff is old and cool. Anyway, so we had this one song that we had this Rhodes that we used, and it was the keyboard Rhodes. And we're like, oh, there's a real one, so let's use it. And then, so we did. And the sound that comes out of this Rhodes is not like anything that ever can be replicated. Like there's always like fake Rhodes sounds. I know the Nord does it, and it just doesn't sound the same at all. So I got this on Craigslist. It was funny because Lisle was out of town and I had just gotten my tax return. And it was just like so convenient because it got on there, and then I contacted the person. Turns out it was the keyboard player of Joan of Arc, who is a band that I really liked. I still really like. I liked them a lot in high school. And she's like, okay, well, a keyboard's for sale. Here's some videos of me playing it. And I was like, what? It's Joan of Arc. So I went over to her studio, tested it out, fell in love with it, and took it home in the back of her car because I couldn't get a cab to pick me up and take me home. I played music all my life, and I liked the idea of being a creative, but I got a lot of pushback because it's like, that's not gonna make you any money. And I don't think it's really about the money. I don't think that I could be who I am today if I wasn't a musician. Kristine's in a band and she plays music and this is what she does for a living. Like, that's not something my parents tell their friends, and now I think we're at that point where it's like, yeah, Kristine plays music and she tours. Like, so there's some kind of tangible result that they can be proud of that I could also be proud of, but then it seems more legitimate. So they'll believe you eventually, but
Right.
you just have to keep at it because no one can stop you from doing what you love. It's just, and if they do or they try, it's just not worth it.
If you're passionate about something, like, you're gonna have that passion regardless of whether you whether you accept it or not, so it's like you may as well admit that you like something and do it and nurture that rather than like repress it, because if you repress it, it's still going to be there and it's only going to like create negative emotions. So you might as well like give that positive energy and, you know, let it grow, you know.
When you couldn't keep your word, no,